record. What's going on, Ewan, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, man. Bringing you back to worst playoff losses from every NBA team since 2000. You already know how I get down. You already know what it is. We back at it. You know what I mean? Thankful, grateful to be here. You know, in front of you all again with another amazing list video. You know what I'm saying? I also want to thank y'all for, boosting the channel and all that, leaving your likes, and commentating. I love the engagement. Let's keep the conversations going and all of that. Most importantly, E-Unit, you know your 7-star general loves you. So don't forget to keep sharing, keep liking and subbing and all that, man. But without it, I'm gonna introduce the topic today. We're gonna talk about the worst playoff losses from every NBA team since 2000. Worst playoff losses from every NBA team since 2000. Are y'all ready for this? This might bring back some painful memories from y'all. If any of y'all fans at any of these 30 teams, it's gonna bring back some painful memories. But overall, I'm here to guide y'all through, man. Maybe share some of that same hurt. But if you're a fan of any of the opposing teams that were beneficiaries of this might bring back some good memories for you. Without a doubt, man, let's go ahead and dive right into it, man. Boston Celtics. Well, there's only really one right answer for me, but I know it's debatable. The worst playoff loss since 2000 y'all had is blowing a 3-2 lead to the Los Angeles Lakers in the 2010 finals. Reason why? Niggas was not hitting their shots. Ray Allen shot a terrible percentage from the field in the last 2 games, bro. And then, yeah, Perk got hurt, but y'all still had a chance in Game 7 without Perk because both teams were shooting a bad percentage from the field. Both teams, this is the last great NBA Finals from a defensive perspective that we will ever see. This is the last great one. Came out to 7 games. It was very, very close. It didn't help that Perk did get hurt for y'all, but man, y'all were throwing up a brick house. So it was Los Angeles, but they ended up getting to the line late in the clutch. Y'all didn't. So maybe that can be argued as an asterisk, but then again, we already did the asterisk video, but I might update it soon. Depending what happens come June this year. But yeah, man. Brooklyn Nets. Blowing a 3-2 lead blowing a 2-0 lead to the Milwaukee Bucks in 2021 Eastern Conference semifinals. Reason why? Durant's feet, bro. Durant's feet, number 1. And then number 2, Kyrie Irving got hurt. You know what I'm saying? James Harden got hurt. We know that. But the thing is, the Nets still had a chance to close out the Bucks. But Durant ran out of gas and freaking airballed. You know what I'm saying? Durant ran out of gas and airballed. And then furthermore, everybody else around was throwing up a brick house. Joe Harris missing open clutch threes. James Harden missing open clutch threes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody around him was throwing up a brick house but him. So Durant had to be the only guy with the ball. You know what I'm saying? And then I gotta give Milwaukee their props. They showed up and showed out for the game down the stretch, man. They showed up and showed out. You know what I'm saying? Giannis had a few buckets in the paint. You know what I mean? I think a good slice of everybody had some buckets in the paint in the OT, man. But yeah, Giannis definitely showed up. You know, KD was out of gas, bro, and that was a clean shot. Why? You probably wonder why didn't I put the 03 or 02 finals up in there? Well, let's be real. Compared to those Lakers and those Spurs teams of the 2000s, the Nets did not have a damn chance because J. Kidd was their only All-Star. Need I say more? New York Knicks. Losing in 6 games to the Indiana Pacers in the 2013 playoffs. The reason why I put this here is the Knicks had one of the most stacked rosters of all time here. The Knicks had one of the most stacked rosters of all time here. You would expect them to, at least edge out against Indiana. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had Jason Kidd, J.R. Smith, Carmelo, Amari, Tyson Chandler, Amon Shumpert off the bench when he was halfway decent, Raymond Felton, Steve Novak, Chris Copeland, Pablo Prigioni. You know what I'm saying? Rasheed Wallace was even part of this roster. You know what I mean? And y'all couldn't muster up, you know what I'm saying, a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in Melo's career? Wow. And I'm going to be honest, Amari was dealing with some injuries, which is why I blame most of this on Melo. Melo, number one, he was at the peak of his ball hogging powers. And then number two, this will be the last we will ever see Carmelo take the Knicks this far in the playoffs, because he will never make the playoffs again as part of the New York Knicks after this series. Like, this is the last vision we've seen of playoff Nick Carmelo. He wouldn't go back to the playoffs until 2017 when he got traded to OKC. But yeah, man, DJ Augustine was torching their asses too. That's another thing. They let an unsung hero named DJ Augustine just torch their ass. Anyway, Philadelphia 76ers losing to the Toronto Raptors and blowing a 2-1 lead in 7 games in the 2019 East semifinals. And I'm gonna just keep it real yet again. This is as far as Joel Embiid will take the 76ers. He gets this far, he finds a way to crap his pants. And yeah, Kawhi got a lucky bounce. That makes it even more devastating, because everybody else on the Sixers was definitely doing their thing but Embiid, man. And they just happened to let Kawhi get open and get room for a shot. And it just bobbles and it drops in. And it didn't help that, Joel Embiid was flopping all over the place. It didn't help. You know what I mean? I could have put any one of the other losses where Embiid made it past the first round here, but I put this one up here because, the Sixers had the game won. The Sixers had the game won until that shot. This is as close as the Sixers will get in the modern era to an NBA Finals ever. As long as Joel Embiid is on the team. Mark my words. Toronto Raptors. Speaking of Toronto, losing to the 76ers in 2001 in the 2001 East semis, because Vince Carter got free 4-3, pump faked, and then barely missed at the end. So yeah, they blew a 2-1 lead here. You know what I mean? And DC and AI, this is one of the best series ever where anybody could have won. I could have put the LeBronto stuff on here, but the fact that they got swept both times tells me them Raptors didn't have a chance. Number one, because DeMar DeRozan is a freaking choker. And then number two, you know what I'm saying? The Sixers and the Raptors around this era were evenly matched because they only had one All-Star, and they was guarding each other, busting each other's buns. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's that. But yeah, man, Vince could only do so much for this team. You know what I'm saying? Vince could only do so much to this team. You know what I'm saying? I felt like a lot of his prime was wasted on this version of the Toronto Raptors, considering that they never made it past the second round. At least AI did this season. And at least they got close to the 0-1 finals, but nobody was beating the 2001 Lakers. Golden State Warriors. You should already know what this one is. Them blowing a 3-1 lead to the Cavaliers in the 2016 finals. And I put this on here ultimately. First of all, they were up 3-1. Second of all, this finals was definitely rigged. I'm not arguing against that, because there was a lot of uncalled calls, especially when Tristan Thompson was guarding somebody. There was a lot of uncalled calls. Tristan Thompson, Delly, all those guys. They was letting the Cavaliers hack the Golden State Warriors. There's a whole 16, 15-minute compilation video of uncalled fouls against the Cavaliers. Furthermore, Curry does not play aggressive defense, so it makes you question how the fuck did he foul out of a game. But the ultimate reason why this is on here is that the game was close in Game 7. The game was freaking close. And Stephen Curry somehow just throws the pass behind his back and to Klay Thompson instead of swinging it to Klay, and it ends up landing out of bounds. Somebody had to get in his ear and say something to him about doing that on purpose. That and not passing the ball late in the fourth to Draymond Green, because Draymond Green had the most points on the Warriors. He was leading the Warriors in scoring with 32. So the fact that you didn't even bother to give him the ball says a lot. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, like his and then the fact that you got defensively bodied by Kevin Love 2 straight drives after throwing up crazy 3 after crazy 3, missing late in the fourth like that, you deserve to lose. You deserve to lose. And then before that, you let Kyrie bust your ass at this shot right here. You know what I'm saying? All he did was sidestep and he just flecked that mug. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, you up 3-1, bro. You up 3-1. Los Angeles Clippers blowing a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets in the 2020 Western Conference Semifinals. This was notably bad because the Clippers dominated the majority of the series, and then come Game 7, freaking Kawhi and Paul George were throwing up brick houses, man. It's like, what the heck happened? Did the pandemic? Were they infected with the pandemic? Like, they were throwing up brick after brick after brick after brick after brick. Like, one of those shots that they was trying to do hit from the corner hit the side of the backboard. I'm like, what is this? What am I watching? Are they deliberately choking? And then I remember, Doc Rivers is still the head coach of the Clippers at this time, and he's blown 3-1 leads before. Crazy. And come to think that the Nuggets didn't have Jamal Murray at this time because he had gotten injured in the earlier round. Then MPJ hadn't developed yet, so freaking Nikola was by himself damn near. Well, him and Jeremy Grant, because Jeremy Grant showed up in big ways. But yeah, dude, I put this on here because the type of shit that all the Clipper fans were talking about, how they're going to win the Battle of LA and all of that. They talked all that mess only for their team to choke, and then they go on hush mode. That's crazy. And then, regardless if the Clippers would have won all the way or not, it's still a Mickey Mouse ring at the end of the day. But anyway, speaking of that other LA team, we got the LA Lakers coming up, and I'm going to say the worst loss I've ever seen from them was losing the 2004 finals to the Detroit Pistons. Primarily because they were the heavy favorites. They weren't just favorited, they were heavy favorites to win this finals game. You know what I'm saying? They were heavy favorites to win this final series, and Detroit had every advantage possible from a psychological, mental, you know what I'm saying, and from a mathematical standpoint too, because all they had to do was force the defensive pressure up, so that way Shaq has to move out the paint. You know what I'm saying? That's what Chauncey Billups said on the podcast with Matt Barnes and Stevie Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So, and then not to mention Kobe was trying to do everything on his own. You know what I'm saying? And this ended arguably the greatest era of Lakers basketball. Arguably the greatest era of Lakers basketball with the Kobe Shaq era. This ended it at the cap of 8 years. At the cap of 8 years. Because it wasn't them being dominated. It was just how they decided to go out. Because Kobe shot the Lakers out the series. I remember in the last game of the series, he shot 8 for 24. And that wasn't going to get it done at all. Nobody expected the Pistons to win except for maybe my dad at the time. My dad knew the Pistons were going to win because he has sensed the irregular chemistry that the Lakers had around this time because of Kobe Shaq's big feud. And then, like, another reason why the Lakers were favored, they had a stacked team. You know, they had Gary Payton. D. Fish was still on this team. Karl Malone, but he got injured in the midst of this series. So, yeah, they were some heavy favorites. I think Rick Fox was still on this team, too. But, yeah, they were heavily favored, but still, just I think Devin George was on this team, too, so. 04, man. What a freaking year. Sacramento Kings. This ain't the last you'll see of the Lakers. Because this next one is them losing to the Lakers in the 2002 Western Conference Finals. And yes, it was rigged. But I had to throw this on here because, like, it's how they lost. It's how they lost why it's on here. Like, no fan wants to go down by referee screwaging, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Peja Stojakovic in Game 7 with 10 seconds left had a chance to ice the game away with a wide open corner three. And you know what happens? He airballs. Why did you airball Peja? But yeah. And then, like, there was some other stuff too, like the ticky-tack fouls that were called in Game 6, like how Kobe elbowed Mike Bibby in the face. And they didn't call an offensive foul. And then, what else was going on? Then that back tap by dumbass Vlade Divac to Robert Horry for that crazy shot to avoid being down 3-1. So, yeah, man, there's that. And then, what else was going on? Oh, yeah. I think some people also fouled out in Game 6, too. So, yeah, there's that. But other than that, I can't think of any other devastating playoff loss the Kings have been in other than this one. I don't think any other playoff loss will ever compare. You know what I mean? Phoenix Suns. Losing the 2021 Finals after blowing a 2-0 lead to the Milwaukee Bucks. Reason why? Chris Paul went from his point guard persona, more like to the point fraud during the last 4 games of the finals. Because if you look at his numbers, man, he did not show up. And Devin Booker didn't do much of anything to bail them out. And then, like, Coach Monty Williams thought it was a great idea to put DeAndre Ayton on Giannis Antetokounmpo. But Giannis is too damn strong and fast for him. It was a mismatch despite the height, despite the even height. You know what I'm saying? It was a mismatch. Like, Giannis was going to eat that dude up. I already knew what the deal was, man. But yeah, man. And then, like, Chris Middleton started getting hot. Drew Holiday was getting hot. You know what I'm saying? The Bucks cleared the Suns in this series, man. The Bucks earned this championship. Can't even BS. Because the fact that the Suns were up 2-0 gives me the impression that they could have beat the Bucks if Chris Paul wasn't so much of a point fraud. You feel me? So, yeah. Moving forward. Chicago Bulls. Losing in 5 to Miami in the 2011 finals. And I put this one in here because Derrick Rose's MVP season was pretty much squandered by this moment here. Because, like, Derrick Rose would never be the same after this, as you know. Like, this is as far as Derrick Rose would ever get to the finals, sadly. You know what I mean? And it hurt a lot of Bulls fans that I'm friends with hearts. Because, you know what I'm saying, D-Rose was like a damn near worldwide phenomenon at that point. Like, everywhere you go, somebody's talking about D-Rose. Even my older brother was a D-Rose fan, and this broke his heart real bad. So, yeah, man. Ugh. If only Derrick Rose was taught how to land correctly after the layup. But we'll never know. Cleveland Cavaliers. Y'all probably thinking I'm going to put the times where LeBron got swept in here. But no. What I am going to do is put the time where LeBron blew a 2-1 lead to the 2010 Celtics in the Eastern Conference in the Eastern Conference semis, I think it was. Yeah, the East semis. LeBron blew a lead, a 2-1 lead. And yes, LeBron did choke in here. I looked at some of the percentages, and the percentages are not very good. You know what I'm saying? And before you hit me with that, he had nobody excuse. Zydrunas Ilgauskas was an All-Star last I checked, right? Wasn't Zydrunas Ilgauskas an All-Star? He might not have been selected that year, but hold on. I know he was a two-time NBA All-Star. Yep, two-time All-Star in 2003 and 2005. So he was a former All-Star. So you had that guy. You had Daniel Gibson. You had was Carlos Boozer on this team? Let me look it up, because I can't say LeBron had absolutely nobody. Like, he had a decent amount of talent after him. The problem was, he was playing like 2 packs of trash. He had Baron Davis as his point guard, bruh. That's crazy. He had Anton Jameson, Anthony Parker, Verjao, Ramon Sessions, Alonzo G. How do you have? He had J.J. Hickson too. See, how is this team bad? This team is not bad. This team has a decent amount of talent, bro. Actually, no. Let me go back. Correction. He had Danny Green, Antoine Jameson, and Shaq. He had Shaq too. He had Delonte West and Mo Williams, Sebastian Telfair. All these guys are great pickups, man. How are they trash? How are these guys trash? And then on top of that, they finished one game ahead of the Lakers, who are also a 60-win team. This team, how can a team suck when you had 60 wins? And before you give all the credit to LeBron, just remember, LeBron's points by themselves did not guarantee any wins for the Cavaliers. Not by themselves. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, bro, look at how they lost. They were up 2-1. And then all out of nowhere, they freaking collapse. Crazy work. They were making LeBron look like a freaking fool out there. Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. Paul Pierce hitting threes over him. You know what I'm saying? Garnett roughing him up when he gets inside the paint. You know what I'm saying? Ray Allen busting their asses every time he gets open. They're making the Cavaliers look like complete jokes. Like they didn't deserve to win 61. Once again, I blame it on LeBron for not developing his game to where it needed to be. Detroit Pistons, it's easy for me. You might have something else, but it's easy for me. It's losing the 2005 finals to the Spurs in 6 games. Not 6 games, in 7 games. I think Detroit also was... I want to say Detroit was up 3-2 at this point. Am I right? Hold on. Let's see. Well, actually, no. This is game 5. So, yeah, this is game 5. So the Spurs went up 3-2. The Pistons got to win back. And then once they went back to San Antonio, they got clapped. Because they were doing that 2-3-2 shit. So, yeah, man. All Rasheed Wallace had to do was stay on Robert Horry. That's all he had to do. And this moment still haunts Pistons fans to this day because they know that the Spurs were a team that could match their energy and then some because of how well Parker Ginobili and Timmy D was playing. And then they got a good spread of shooters like Bowen, Horry, as you can see. Brent Barry was on this team, I believe. But yeah, man, like the Spurs just had a deep-ass team around this time. Like the Spurs were deep. You know what I mean? Not saying Detroit wasn't deep, but the Spurs were just outmatching them, bro. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, this was a great series. This was a great series. But, like, Detroit could have got them in 7 games. You know what I'm saying? Could have got them in 7 games. But, you know, the Spurs just outclutched them in every point possible, as you can see. But, yeah, man, this lives rent-free in Detroit Piston fan heads. But anyway, if you don't believe me, ask Crispy Flakes. Indiana Pacers. I don't know about you guys, but I'll say losing the 2000 finals in 6 games to Kobe and Shaquille O'Neal in the finals in the Lakers. The reason why I put this one here is that out of all the finals opponents and their finals victories, the Indiana Pacers was the only team that could match that Lakers team from the Eastern Conference properly because, you know, Shaquille O'Neal says Rick Smits used to beat him up real bad. And then, like, Reggie and Kobe, as you can see, they'll keep getting buckets against one another, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, shoot, for Ron Harper, they had Mark Jackson, you know what I'm saying? They had Jalen Rose, who was another great ring scorer. You know what I'm saying? Like, this Pacers team was actually pretty loaded. They had Chris Mullin off the bench, Sam Perkins off the bench. Like, this Dale Davis was a good power forward. Like, this Indiana team was pretty loaded. It was loaded. They had the best chance to beat the Lakers in the early 2000s. They had the best chance out of anybody in the East because, you know, 76ers weren't all that deep. I mean, God rest Dikembe Mutombo. But the 76ers weren't that deep. The New Jersey Nets weren't that deep. You know what I'm saying? This Indiana team was deep. And the fact that Shaq fouled out in one of these games and the Pacers still couldn't win makes me put this on here. This is as close as the Indiana Pacers will get to an NBA championship. Moving forward, Milwaukee Bucks. If I had to think of something, it's them losing to Boston in the 2022 playoffs. I think this was like the second round. Yeah, this was the second round, and blowing a 2-1 lead for in 7 games. I think Chris Middleton was injured majority for this, but y'all had a chance at beating these guys, and you didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all were up 2-1. Y'all were up 2-1. That's all I'm gonna say, man. And then, like, y'all let Tatum go off on y'all. Y'all let JB go off on y'all. Y'all let Marcus Smart get a lot of open shots. The defensive breakdown was just insufferable. And then, like, wasn't this also the series that wasn't Coach Bud fired after this, or was this the next one? No. It was the one where they lost to Miami where Coach Bud got fired. But yeah, man, like, and another thing I got attributed to, like, Giannis's role players, you know what I'm saying, apart from maybe Brook Lopez, wasn't hitting too many shots for him. Like, this was crazy for me to watch. Like, y'all were the defending champs. And y'all had a 2-1 lead against one of y'all biggest rivals. Not a good look, man. Yeah, man, we're moving forward. Going back to the West, we're going to do Denver Nuggets. And I'm going to say blowing a 3-2 lead to the Portland Trail Blazers in the West semis. Now, Jokic is still the number 1 guy, and this was before Jamal Murray got injured. You know what I'm saying? And I want to say Michael Porter Jr. wasn't fully developed yet around this time. So you were facing pretty much a one-man show in the Blazers, because I think was CJ McCollum on the Blazers at this point? Hold on, let me see. Was CJ McCollum on the Blazers at this point? Yeah, he was on the Blazers. So yeah. So you were facing a 2-man show in the backcourt, and CJ and Damian, and like, y'all kept letting them just get whatever type of shot they wanted, bro. Granted, Jokic and them was killing the inside, but you know what I'm saying, their backcourt defense got exposed this series. Their backcourt defense got exposed. Bad. And it wasn't nothing to hardly laugh about, especially when Dame just clutched y'all out in Game 7. Like, that was... And then, like, wasn't Denver missing free throws, too? Late in the clutch in Game 7, too? Yeah. I think they were. Reason why I put this over the Western Conference Finals choke to Kobe Bryant is because, I don't think the Nuggets ever had a lead against that Lakers team. Denver did here. Utah Jazz, I would have to say the worst loss that they suffered was blowing a 2-0 lead to the LA Clippers in the 2021 Western Conference semifinals. The Clippers just got lucky that Donovan Mitchell froze. You know what I'm saying? And then Mike Conley is too old to guard any of those guys, as you can see here. And then I think they still had Rudy Gobert. You know what I'm saying? Who they was working around. You know what I mean? And then everybody was doubting the LA Clippers, considering that the Jazz had a 2-0 lead against them already, and then they just let them just come back. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was picking the Jazz considering what happened to the Clippers in the previous playoffs, but sometimes history don't repeat itself, because I want to say this is the Clippers' first year with Ty Lue as the head coach. And coaching, this is where I say coaching does make a difference, because Doc Rivers no longer being in Los Angeles put a whole new different energy on how the Clippers play basketball. People were cutting, moving, instead of just settling for jump shots and all that. The Clippers outplayed themselves in this series. They really did. I expected them to choke here, but they didn't. So yeah, shout out Ty Lue. My Timberwolves. Losing in six games to the Memphis Grizzlies in a 2022 East Round 1. Reason why? We had a shot. There were so many times where we outplayed them in majority of the first half, but we couldn't close the games out. That was our problem around this time. Ant was young and developing, and Cat, soft ass, committing turnovers and committing ticky-tack fouls and all that. And then we didn't have Rudy Gobert yet, so we can't blame him. And then hell, we couldn't even blame or did we? I think we did have Rudy Gobert, so we can partially blame him. Who else was on this team? I think Vander wasn't on this team because we traded him, and then we also traded Malik Beasley too. So yeah, unless we did in the next season, I don't know. But yeah, man, my memory's a little bleak because I've been trying to forget about this loss ever since it happened. But man, the Wolves fan of me was so devastated. And Jaden McDaniels only showed up for maybe 2-3 games out of the series, and he just was throwing up bricks after that, and that was just disappointing. But yeah, man, tough luck. OKC blowing a 3-1 lead to the Golden State Warriors in the 2016 Western Conference Finals. Reason why? Man, they were up 3-1, and then just out of nowhere, Katie and Russ started playing like trash. They were breaking, you know what I'm saying? They were also turning over the ball heavily. You can look that up as well. You know what I mean? And whoever was guarding Clay needed to get fired that day on Game 6. Because who let Clay go off for that many points in Game 6, man? Y'all gave him the moniker Game 6 Clay, and that has hardly ever left. You know what I'm saying? Up until he tore his ACL in 2019 Finals. And it was because of this that KD joined the Warriors the very next year. The most snakiest superstar of all time. Portland Trailblazers. Blowing a 15-point lead in Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals to the 2000 LA Lakers. And the reason why this one's on here, because, they shot 5 of 23 in the fourth quarter. Scottie Pippen didn't make no shots. They didn't give Jermaine O'Neal no minutes. You know what I'm saying? These guys couldn't hit a shot to save their lives in the fourth quarter, man. They got dominated the whole fourth quarter. And y'all had the game won. Y'all had the game run. Damon Stoudemire, bricking. Steve Smith, bricking. Shea Wallace, bricking. Scottie Pippen, bricking. They had the trip to back to the finals for the first time since '92 in the bag. They had it, and they shot themselves out of it. Crazy work, Portland. Crazy work. Atlanta Hawks. There's two of them, and I couldn't decide which one to put on here, so I put them both on here. Getting swept in the Eastern Conference Finals by LeBron and the Cavaliers, and losing in 6 games to the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the reason why I put both on, well, one of them is because the Hawks were like I think they were like a 50-plus win team in the 2015 playoffs, and they had the number 1 seed. And they couldn't get a game against a team that was lower than them. They couldn't get a single game. However, I will attribute it to this. Matthew Dellavedova purposely injured Kyle Korver, who was their best three-point shooter. So that makes a big difference, considering that he was one of the all-stars from this Atlanta Hawks team selected this year. So yeah, that makes a big difference. And then another thing is, if LeBron's traveling would just get called for once, that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? And then they lost to a Kevin Love-less Cavaliers team. Let's not forget that. They couldn't get a game against a Cavaliers team with just 2 of their big 3 being in there. They couldn't get a game. I knew it was over the day that they rained in like 25 threes against them. Cavs were low-key the Golden State Warriors of the East without them hauling threes, man. But anyway. And then I put the 2021 series on there, and I'm looking at the present Atlanta Hawks fans. This will forever live rent-free in your head, because I totally feel like they should have never fired Nate McMillan after this, because, dog, they were playing the Bucks great. Even with Trae Young missing a game, they still found a way to win. And I thought Atlanta had a shot at beating Milwaukee. You know what I'm saying? I mainly put these on here because I believe that the Hawks had a shot. You know what I'm saying? Until it was just withering away. But yeah, eventually Giannis got back into his bag, and we already know what happened next. But yeah, man, I feel sorry for you Hawk fans. I really do. Miami Heat. I'm laughing because this is one of my favorite losses to talk about. Blowing a 2-1 lead to the Dallas Mavericks in the 2011 finals. Dude, man, LeBron was averaging 17.8 points. And in one of those games, he only scored 8. That has to be the worst finals performance I've ever seen from a superstar. And then, in this game right here, game 2, they were up by 15 points. They were up by 15 points. And then, out of nowhere, everybody was hitting their shots. Jason Terry, bang. Jason Kidd, bang. Sean Marion in the lane, bang. Ty Chandler, Lara, bang. Dirk Faders, bang. Dirk for 3. Come on, man. Everybody was hitting, bruh. Shoot, Dirk with the spin around lefty layup on while being defended by Chris Bosh. Stuff a legend. Shoot, and Dirk even got sick during this series and was still busting ass. I remember he hit a high arcing rainbow 3 over somebody in this series. And then LeBron was getting pieced up by J Kidd, Jason Terry, and JJ Barea because he couldn't figure out how to move through the zone defense to get through the rim, man. He was being so passive during this series that it was almost angering for most people to watch. And Dwayne Wade was carrying them with a 65% field goal percentage. Dwayne Wade was carrying the Heat during the series, man. That should not be happening, man. Anyway, Charlotte Hornets. Losing the first round, blowing a 3-2 lead to the Miami Heat in the 2016 playoffs. And the reason why I put this in here, like I said, y'all had a shot. And this was the only times in the Kemba Walker era where you guys were actually considered a threat. You know what I'm saying? The Kemba Walker era, This was y'all like sign of hope right here that y'all could be something in the playoffs. But nope, y'all had to run into Big Hassan Whiteside over here and a version of Dwayne Wade who decided to turn back the clock and outclutch you guys. Oh, that's devastating. That's devastating. And oh my goodness, Al Jefferson, if only you didn't get injured so much, buddy. Anyways, the Orlando Magic. Some of y'all thinking 2009 finals, but I'm not going to put that in here because they didn't have a shot at beating Kobe. But what I am going to put in here is last year's loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers in 7 games. The reason why I felt like the Orlando Magic had a shot to knock out Cleveland. I felt like they did because Garland was underperforming. And like, you know, Donovan Mitchell was starting to get cold, but y'all couldn't hit a shot deep in the fourth, you know what I'm saying, that to decide the game. So y'all were forced to foul and things like that. Like, y'all were a missed shot away from going to the next round. Y'all were a missed shot away, and it sucks now that Paolo's injured that we might not even see y'all in the playoffs this year because of that, man. Because of the expected time Paolo's allowed to miss. Like, y'all showed a lot of signs of you guys being a major threat in these playoffs, man. And the fact that I'm probably not going to see it is going to hurt me to my core. And y'all actually have a good team around y'all. Y'all actually had almost no different than last year's team. Y'all have a great team, but y'all got to put it all together. The problem with the Magic is they couldn't put it all together. Like, y'all were a missed shot away. Yeah, man. Washington Wizards blowing losing the Celtics in 7 games in the 2017 Eastern Conference semifinals. I say this because this is as close as they gotten to the finals. This is as close they got to the finals in the John Wall era. And like the fact that y'all got cooked so bad by Isaiah Thomas, who's a literal midget on the court, speaks volumes. But he did have some character plot armor by, you know what I'm saying, like he was fueled by him losing his sister in that car accident. He was definitely fueled by that. So IT became a man on a mission. It was like, F it, I'm going to lead the Celtics to the conference finals this year for my sister. And y'all couldn't do anything to stop IT. Shoot, in one of those games, they hit like 20 plus threes against y'all. Him, Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, young Jason Tatum, young Jaylen Brown, Samuel Ojeleye, Al Horford, all them guys. Marcus Morris. Y'all were letting them bust y'all ass, man. And as a John Wall fan, I was disappointed. But, you know, as somebody who has a soft spot for the Celtics, it was a bittersweet thing for me. Memphis Grizzlies. Winding down, y'all. Losing in the 2023 playoffs. First round. To LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. In 6 games. Reason why? Ja and Dillon Brooks was doing a lot of this. And not enough this. A lot of this. And not enough this. What more can you amount it to? Shannon Sharp was right when he says, do not poke the bear. And they poked the bear and they fucked around and found out. What can I say? They fucked around and found out. Talking about, I'm fine in the West. Yeah, your ass definitely fine in the West, alright, as long as you don't play with freaking guns, Ja. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say Ja's habits and his antics are going to limit him in this world if he doesn't clean up his act. That's all I'm going to say. New Orleans Pelicans. Their worst playoff loss is actually when they were still the Hornets, but I'm going to count it in. Is when they blew a 2-0 lead to the Spurs in the 2008 Western Conference semifinals. And the choker of the series goes to Chris Paul. Like, he went from out-clutching the Spurs to the Spurs just kicking it to another gear that he can't reach, man. Like, this was crazy work. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that you led this Hornets team to this far in the playoffs to just lose like that. Like, you had Pager, Tyson Chandler, J.R. Smith on your team. Like, dog, you couldn't make the series a lot more competitive, man. You couldn't get a dub. You couldn't get it done. And this was the beginning of Chris Paul being the point fraud, because this is actually, I think this is the very first of his many playoff chokes here. Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to say getting swept by the, we believe, Golden State Warriors in the 2007 first round. The reason why this was on here is, well, first of all, Dirk and the Mavs were not playing well from the field. They were not playing very well. Second of all, Dirk was in his MVP form. And it was a waste. You know why? Because they couldn't figure out how to stop the lightning quick offense of the 07 Warriors. Like Baron Davis, Matt Barnes, and Steven Jackson and all these guys, they were going crazy on their asses. Going absolutely bananas. And the Mavericks didn't have an answer for it because Dirk kept going cold. Their MVP kept going cold. That's a shame. A travesty. But Dirk redeemed himself for this 4 years later, so I'm not even too mad about this. Houston Rockets. It should be obvious. Blowing a 3-2 lead to the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals because instead of going to the hoop to ice the game, you decided to shoot a lot more threes, thus shooting yourselves out of the series, blowing a 13, blowing a big lead going into the fourth. Y'all were up a majority of the game. Why are y'all still shooting? And I put this on because look at the odds of that happening. 1 in 72,000. That's the probability for the Rockets to miss that many threes in a row. With a lead, mind you. With a lead. 27 straight threes? Come on, man. Last but not least. Oh, yeah. A lot of y'all want to argue Chris Paul was injured. I get that, but y'all got the 3-2 lead regardless of his injury. Because remember, in Game 6, the Rockets handled business. You know what I'm saying? And then in Game 7, what did they do? Choke. San Antonio Spurs blowing a 3-2 lead to the Miami Heat in the 2013 Finals. Literally everything that could have went right for the Heat went right, and everything that could have went wrong for the Spurs went wrong. Y'all went from hitting all them threes, namely Danny Green, to missing clutch free throws, for Tim Duncan to be sat on the bench, so Chris Bosh can have this opportunity to rebound and kick it out to Ray Allen for this amazing shot, and then later on missing clutch free throws, and then Tim Duncan missing easy layups and free throws. And then in the next game, you let LeBron go crazy for like 35 plus, and then like having him hit the last field goal, having him hit the last regular shot of the finals. And then y'all let Shane Battier get hot from downtown with 6 of 6 shooting from there. Like, y'all couldn't stop him from hitting any kind of threes at all. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. That and, like, y'all were missing free throws again in Game 7. So, whatever went wrong for the Spurs went wrong, and whatever went right for the Heat went right. So, yeah, this is easily the most devastating because everybody still talks about this shot. This shot was a freaking epic. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you know wherever I upload. And I'll see you all next time for another list. Might be something different than just basketball. Might be not. But stay tuned, y'all. Till then, love y'all. Deuces.